So if we talk a little about the skills gap, because that's again at the heart of what I believe is important to discuss with Agile automation initiatives. If I care about organizations adopting new technology to be able to achieve their desired outcomes, the thing that we have to address is the skills gap. So there's a simple 3 steps to breaking down what skills gaps exist, and one is that discovery phase. Be curious, get a sense of what's actually happening. Talk to your friends, talk to your peers. You can set up an actual discovery protocol or an exploration meeting inside of your org, inside of your team, and you don't have to bring a sense of angst, like, oh, it's coming, we gotta fix it. No, be kind about it. Be thoughtful. Like, hey, there's some things that are changing. Like, what do we want to do? Like, where can we put feelers out to and make it easy for people to contribute? And when you create that sense of this is going to be something that we're going to explore, this is something that can be fun, this is something that is meant to empower, is meant to support and make your life easier, we see people willing to actually engage. We talked about the ability for someone to self-identify here. Oftentimes people reserve information because they're scared. People think their job is going to be automated. A lot of people think their job is going to be automated and they're going to be unemployable. And it's just not the case. What is the case is there's an opportunity for new contributions to be made. And my belief is that automation is going to give us the ability to be human again. It's going to give us the ability to communicate more with each other, to be creative, to think about how we can take our products, our teams, our services, the value that we create, and introduce it to people or organizations or target customers that we would have never thought to. We'll be able to innovate on top of it and see new opportunities, new possibilities with that time to reflect. So stage 1 is take that time to discover what's possible. And then once you've done a thorough discovery, you start to actually identify those patterns. Collect that data in a way to where you can start observing the cadence, see the shape of what actually exists. And once you have that data collected and you've been able to identify and create that visibility into what your organization looks like, what opportunities lay ahead, then you actually have the ability to start implementing and distributing new solutions. And that can come in a variety of different ways. That can come in the peer-to-peer trainings, that can come in cohort-based learning, that can come with experts, consultation, creating shared experiences, that can come with what I call friendtorship, which is that coaching and mentor model, though really making it a place for people to work together. And rather than having this pedestal, you're actually side by side, engaging, collaborating, and experimenting together. So it's 3 quick steps in terms of how you can make an analysis of that skills gap.
Oh, so Mark, sorry,
yes.
Go ahead. One of the things that we do, or I do quite a bit, is hold community of practices. For a lot of people in IT, there's community of practice.
Yes.
And the thing is, we do that quite often, but where it isn't happening is on the business side.
Sure. Now, why do you think that is?
Very simply because I think there's a lot of fear. What they're concerned about.
Where's the fear come from?
Oh, exposing unemployment. You don't have that psychological safety. You don't feel like you're in a safe environment.
And why don't they have that safety?
Command and control. One of the things that a lot of managers have never been trained as managers, and a lot of them are not even leaders. Very simply because a true leader understands one thing: their performance evaluation is based on how well their team does.
You just nailed it.
Not what
that's what I was waiting for. It was their incentive model, and it's directly correlated to performance, which is important, and it must be a part of it. We must be delivering and held accountable to something. But we also need that space to be able to create from, play from, and actually innovate from. That's where some of the best learning is done. So thanks for that highlight.
Just to give you a point, okay, when I went to my first squadron in the Navy, I was heading towards being assistant branch officer for avionics. Now that's all the electronics in the aircraft. Now I knew all the emergency procedures. I knew how to use them when I was flying. Okay, but tell me, okay, lift up that hood and tell me where this is? No, no such thing. Am I going to be
Right.
able to show them, or am I going to go ahead and be able to teach them? And the bottom line is, that's when I realized that looking at my performance evaluation, there was only one checkbox for flying.
Yep.
The rest of it had all to do with my ground job. So since I couldn't do the first two things, the alternative was to create an environment to allow people to excel. Some may not, but a lot will.
100%.
And essentially how well they do is basically how you do.
Completely. Well, and so I love what you're highlighting here, because it's a couple things that I'm going to get to build on. One is creating visibility into the things that really matter, right? And so you were actually aware of the process and aware of the contributions on the team to be able to create a path for them to contribute in a way that would be successful, rather than saying you must do X, Y, and Z. Not everyone can facilitate that. So you created a shape and really a place for everyone to be able to contribute. And I salute you there. The other piece is going to, again, come back to the incentive structure. And I want to talk about that as we move to the end. So I'm going to move through this learning organization piece, and then we're going to come back to that because I like it a lot. And so some of you are probably familiar with the idea of a learning organization. You've likely heard the term, based on some work that Peter Sang has done. And really, in its essence, it's a company that facilitates the learning of its members and continuously transforms itself. One of the organizations I see doing this publicly, you can think of, Tesla as an organization, the SpaceXs, the Boring companies. I see Facebook as this now. If you've seen their recent release of the metaverse, like Facebook will not be known as a social media company. It will be known as a company that facilitates the metaverse. Like, they're continuously eating and destroying their own product to build what's net new. And that's the way you can facilitate transformation in that long form continuity. So it's priding yourself on creating a learning organization, and that starts with each member of your team.